Friends, our text for today is curious. There is tension between what Jesus says in our text and what we know of our lives in this time and place. We hear, "Don't worry about your clothes and what you will eat," yet we know that many around the world and in our community are lacking essentials. We hear, "Don't worry, all of your human concerns will be met," yet we see a nation of plenty, a nation about to celebrate a holiday focused on feasting and indulgence that has also nearly collapsed under greed and self-serving attitudes. How can we possibly not worry? How can we not worry when poverty, hunger, homelessness, and suffering are close to us? Might we say even closer to us than they've ever been? How can we not feel anxious when our society's priorities seem so out of whack? In her book, Plan B, Further Thoughts on Faith, best-selling author Anne Lamott wonders the same thing. Lamott describes waking up on her 49th birthday filled with worry and anxiety. She is overwhelmed by the state of the world, dismayed by the current political climate and the war in Iraq. She likens her state to the dryness of a desert. She prays to God for help and decides to drive to the market to buy her birthday dinner, since she's not sure what else to do. She writes, "I flirted with everyone in the store, especially the older people, and I lightened up. When the checker finished ringing up my items, she looked at my receipt and cried, 'Hey, you've won a ham!' I felt blindsided by the news. I had asked God for help, not a ham. This was very disturbing. What on earth was I going to do with 10 pounds of salty pink eraser? I rarely eat it. It makes me bloat." "Wow," I said. The checker was so excited about giving it to me that I pretended I was too. "How great!" A bagger was dispatched to the back of the store to fetch my ham. I stood, waiting anxiously. I wanted to go home so I could start caring for suffering people or turn on CNN. I almost suggested that the checker award the ham to the next family who paid with food stamps. But for some reason, I waited. If God was giving me a ham, I'd be crazy not to receive it. Maybe it was the ham of God who takes away the sins of the world. I waited 10 minutes for what I began to think of as that stupid ham. Finally, the bag boy handed me a parcel the size of a cat. I put it with feigned cheer into my grocery cart and walked to the car, trying to figure out who might need it. I thought about chucking the parcel out the window near a field. I was so distracted that I crashed my cart smack into a slow-moving car in the parking lot. I started to apologize when I noticed that the car was a rusty wreck and that an old friend was at the wheel. She opened her window. "Hey," I said, "how are you? It's my birthday." "Happy birthday," she said, and started crying. She looked drained and pinched, and after a moment, she pointed to her gas gauge. "I don't have money for gas or food. I've never asked for help from a friend, but I'm asking you to help me." "I've got money," I said. No, I just need gas," she said. "I've never asked someone for a handout." "It's not a handout," I told her. "It's my birthday present." I thrust a bunch of money into her hand, everything I had. Then I reached into my shopping cart and held out the ham to her like a clown offering flowers. "Hey," I said, "do you and your kids like ham?" "We love it," she said. "We love it for every meal." She put it in the seat beside her firmly, lovingly, as if she were about to strap it in, and she cried some more. Later, thinking about her, I remembered the seasonal showers in the desert, how potholes in the rocks fill up with rain, and how when you look inside them, there are already frogs in the water and brine shrimp reproducing like commas doing the Macarena. And it seems, but only seems, that you went from parched to overflow in the blink of an eye. Friends, our text for today is curious. And the question in our minds is valid. How can we not worry? Most of us remember a time, even recently perhaps, when we have encountered a friend in need. To any person in real need, the idea of not worrying sounds empty. Don't worry? Easier said than done. In our text for today, Jesus reminds us that in the midst of our anxiety and stress, God is with us and God attends to us. God takes pride in us. God does God's best for us. And Jesus says all of this so that we might rest from our worry and respond with joy. What I'm trying to do here, he says, is to get you to relax, to not be so preoccupied with getting, so that you can respond to God's giving. To not be so preoccupied with getting, so you can respond with to God's giving. The way to remove fear and anxiety from our lives, as Anne Lamott learned, is not by trying to worry less. We remove worry when we replace it with something else. With God's help, Anne's worry was replaced by opportunity. Might we also consider replacing worry with thanksgiving? By thanksgiving, I don't mean the national holiday. I don't mean feeling thankful or even thinking of the things for which we are thankful. Before it was ever a noun or a national holiday associated with cornucopias, turkeys, football, overeating, thanksgiving was a verb, an action, an effort, motion. A verb like dancing or singing, something one does, not something one attends. If we hold on to this text, and if it has any meaning at all, we know that God's love is active in the world, that it is occurring right now, that it is ongoing. As a result, we get to live out our thanksgiving by joining in God's continuing work of compassion, generosity, stewardship, and hospitality. Anne Lamont's story is what happens when, as our text promises, God attends to us in the midst of our worry and does God's best for us. Alone and fearful on her birthday, she goes to the market to buy her own birthday dinner. She ends up winning a ham she doesn't want. In the midst of her worry, she realizes that God might be doing something interesting. Her worry turns into doubt, then skeptical curiosity, then an opportunity, ending in overpouring joy. Friends, as you prepare for whatever awaits you this week, do not worry. May you know God's presence caring for you, attending to you, providing for you, and may you keep an eye open for moments in which you might respond with thanksgiving. Amen.